and a call. And I just recently signed up for a new art subscription, art supply subscription box. Art supply subscription box. That's the thing that I signed up for. I did Art Snacks a little while ago. I liked that okay, but after a while, a lot of the art supplies that they were sending were basically just like pens and other different pens. I don't know if I just got in it and not a great time for my particular interests, but I canceled it after about 4 months because I wasn't really getting a good enough like stuff I was interested in personally to stuff that I really wasn't ratio. And now I decided to try a different art supply subscription box. This time I went with SketchBox, and my first box just arrived. This is the July box. It's almost July as of the time that I'm recording this. I don't know, it might say somewhere inside. So let's open it up and find out. I have my X-Acto. I'm going to attempt not to hurt myself. Part of what I liked about the SketchBox right off the bat is that they do still include a surface for me to try out the art supplies on, but it's a small one, so this actually fit in my mailbox. The Art Snacks boxes got left out on my steps a couple of times, which I was not exactly thrilled with. Alright, what's inside? Oh, what have we here? Oh, they sent me a pencil sharpener. This is a Staedtler Mars Lumograph pencil sharpener. I will say that this style is probably a lot easier to use than the itty bitty little metal ones that I usually use that you have to like grip with your fingertips. If it sharpens just as well, that'd be great. The little thing that tells me what's in there. I will keep this close at hand in case I'm stumped on anything. Ah, a brush. Oh, no, it's a pencil. It's a pencil eraser. It's a pencil eraser that comes with a brush for eraser crumbs. It feels like it's a plastic eraser. It's kind of white colored and it's got that plastic eraser feel. Oh, this is like a whole thing of colored pencils. It is the SketchBox Signature Colored Pencil Set. It contains 12 highly pigmented pencils formulated for easy blending and scratch-free application. Now that's interesting. I will definitely have to try those out. I'm a big Prismacolor colored pencil person. I tried in Art Snacks, I was sent some, I want to say it was Caran d'Ache, I'd have to check, but they were like gorgeous. They were so nice, and I tried them. I was like, oh, I love these so much, and then I looked them up. The retail price on them was like $5 a pencil. I was just like, oh, no. But yeah, if these are nice, I'll definitely have to give them a try. I've got the 12 basic colors in there. Let me see if I can open this up. Not hurt myself doing this. Ah, that was sufficient. Good. Okay. Yeah, so you got some basic colors and like artist basic colors, not like Crayola basic colors. So you've got like light, medium, and dark blue, black, yellow, white, leafy green, yellow ochre, a reddish brown, and a neutral brown. Like this is and a gray. This is a good array of colors for actual like art making applications, like knowing how to actually use colors applications as opposed to like, you know, the Crayola, like here's your basic bright rainbow colors, which I mean you can use. This is more like the colors I would actually use. Alright, what else is in here? This is, oh, these are the same ones that I was just talking about. The Caran d'Ache Luminance colored pencils. So I know this is going to be amazing, but I'm probably never going to buy more of them because they're very expensive. I think they gave me a couple of them. Yeah, there's another one in here. There's another one in here. They gave me a red and like a peachy color. I think there's a couple other colored pencils in here. We've got Derwent Chromaflow. Now what's the Chromaflow? These are new. Brand new pencils are super vibrant and easily blendable with a smooth and creamy application. Okay. So these are, I got a whole bunch of colored pencils basically. That's the theme for this box, it seems. It's colored pencils. Oh, and a Staedtler blender pencil. I don't usually use blender colored pencils. I just kind of layer and blend them myself with the colors, but I mean, I'll give it a shot since they sent me one. And we have our surface. Oh, it's a toned, oh, it's a little pack of toned paper. So it's toned mystical blue and industrial gray. There are 20 sheets and they're little 9x4 like letterbox formatted sheets. And this paper's from Royal Talons. I like their ink. Maybe this paper is also good. pastel, acrylics, gouache, ink, and charcoal. Oh, it's nice and hefty. It's got a nice texture to it. I can see how working with colored pencils on it would be nice. So it's like half the pad is blue, so you get like 10 sheets of blue and 10 sheets of gray. It feels really nice. That's a really nice feeling paper. I'm excited to try that out. And I think the only other thing left in here is a sticker. It says SketchBox. That was my first SketchBox that just came, and I am now going to have to try to figure out something I want to try to do with them. I have everything from this month's SketchBox laid out and selected a piece of blue-toned paper to start with. I started the drawing with the SketchBox signature colored pencils since they had the best variety to work from. These colored pencils were not great. The cores were very firm and didn't have much pigment to them. They also didn't like to blend on their own well, which I guess the blender pencil came in handy for. I'm probably not going to use these again. The Derwent ChromaFlow colored pencils were really nice. They were highly pigmented and blended beautifully. I only had a couple of colors to play with, but they seemed very comparable to Prismacolors, which have been my go-to for ages, but they retail for much cheaper. The absolute best, of course, are the Cran d'Ache Luminance colored pencils. They are divine. Absolutely creamy, beautiful, perfectly blendable, strongly pigmented, just amazing. The price tag on them still breaks my heart, but I think I may not be able to resist much longer. I may need to start buying these. I tried out the Staedtler pencil sharpener and it did a great job. Definitely a lot easier to hang on to than my tiny metal sharpener and forms a nice tip. So I guess the last thing left to try from this box is the Derwent brush eraser. I've used all sorts of eraser pencils and they're pretty handy, but to my absolute amazement, this one actually erased the colored pencil. Most erasers do not manage to do that successfully, and this one did it perfectly. Oh, and I just kind of automatically kept using my hand to brush away eraser crumbs, but the little brush at the end of the pencil does a much better job when I actually remember to use it. paper itself was very nice too. I might have preferred just the tiniest bit more tooth for a colored pencil piece. Tooth is the rough surface texture, by the way. I'll also have to experiment with another sheet and see how it holds up to wet media, but for dry media, it did a great job. Hello, we're back. It's a different month. It's the very end of July now, so I have now received the August SketchBox. This just showed up yesterday in my mailbox, so now I'm going to open it and see what's inside. Let's see what we got. Okay, we've got the little card that tells us what we've got, which I will be referencing periodically as I do this. Alright, we've got a Copic fine liner, a 1.0, so, oh, that's kind of a fat one. That's actually a pretty big fat one, and I would say that's similar to like the, it's a little bit fatter than like the medium Faber-Castell pen tip, so it's a pretty nice fat one. Ooh, what's this? Ooh, it is fluid graphite. So this is graphite, the stuff that comes inside of a pencil, except it's suspended in some kind of high viscosity material fluid. Now that's interesting. That will be something fun to play with. I haven't done that before. What does it say? It doesn't say what it's suspended in, so I'm not sure how it's going to interact with other mediums, because I don't know whether this is like oil-based or water-based or alcohol-based or what. So, I don't know. I guess we'll find out by experimenting. Alright, various pens and a pencil. What is this pencil? This is... oh, it's a chalk pencil. It's a Koh-i-Noor white chalk. I can see how that would interact in a cool way with the liquid graphite. We've got a bunch of pens, like fine liner pens. What is this? I have no idea what this is. Alright, help me out here. They're fine liner markers in light green, emerald green, and sea fog. It's a unique tip that offers water-resistant, non-bleed, and fade-proof lines. That I'm not so sure about. I will definitely have to try them out because I'm not sure what we're dealing with here. They are kind of weird little markers. We also have a tube of gouache. Kind of a challenging medium to actually use. I always kind of struggled against it when I was using it in school, but feel like I would like it a lot more now. Looking forward to experimenting with that. And, ooh, we get a brush. This is a Princeton. It says it's a chisel blender. So this is a square-ended brush. It says it normally, a number 4 chisel blender. It says it normally retails for $7.35. Pretty nice. The handle feels nice too. So, something else to give a try. And what do we have for our surface? Sample surface. We've got, watercolor paper. So it's a 12-sheet sampler of watercolor paper. Let me crack into it. Ooh, it's hot pressed, so it's very smooth, and they're nice and beefy. Pretty good beefy paper we got going on here. It's watercolor paper, so it is meant to stand up to liquid mediums, so that should easily stand up to the liquid graphite and the gouache. Alright, so that's what came in this month's box. It's a bunch of stuff that I'm not familiar with, and I'm actually really curious to try out. I'm not super enthused about trying out the markers. Markers are just not really my thing. But I'm very excited about the liquid graphite and the gouache. Curious to see what I can come up with where I can use all of these things. So I tried to only use things that came in the box, but I had to cheat ever so slightly here because the box didn't come with a pencil. So I sketched out my drawing using a pencil I already had lying around. first thing I used was the liquid graphite and the blender brush they sent. When they say the liquid graphite was viscous, oh my word, they were not kidding. This stuff had the consistency of, like, venom or something. I don't even know. Definitely cannot be used straight, so I mixed it with a fair amount of water. Also, my main camera didn't pick it up, so I took a little shot with my phone. Look at how shiny it is! It looks so magical. The brush was nice, but its shape made it not very good for laying in large areas, so I switched over to one of my Winsor & Newton brushes and then completely forgot to ever pick the blender brush back up. Sorry, blender brush. I'll give you a fair shake another time. I used the liquid graphite a lot like ink, watering it down for different shades of gray. The darker areas especially dried with such a cool effect. Dark, but still with that signature graphite gleam to them. It's a really cool effect that I enjoy a lot. Next, I added some areas of green with the gouache. It turns out this is acrylic gouache, so it really didn't need to be watered down at all like gouache normally does. I tried adding some of the liquid graphite to shade it, which kind of worked. The graphite didn't blend with the gouache at all, so it just ended up kind of sitting on top of it. The end effect is cool, but not necessarily what I was going for. Then I added some gems with the fine liners. These made really tiny lines. I'm still not really sure what I would use them for, but they did work well. I also added just a couple little details with the Copic fine liner. The ink was really nice and dark and flowed very smoothly. Finally, I added highlights to the green with the chalk pencil, which worked really well, but when I went to layer the chalk on top of the graphite, it did absolutely nothing. It just refused to adhere to the graphite at all, so I guess I was wrong about that one. Oh well. So, what is the overall verdict on SketchBox as an art subscription service? I really like this one. I think I like this one a lot more than I liked Art Snacks. I did find a couple of good art supplies in there that I ended up working into the rotation of stuff that I use. Not that it wasn't good stuff, just not stuff keyed to the type of art that I make. And so I didn't find that service as useful. SketchBox seems to be geared a lot more toward the type of art that I tend to make. The inclusion of the different types of accessories I also find really helpful, because getting things like different erasers and different pencil sharpeners and different brushes, these are actually really useful to me too. Not just the actual like mark making supplies. It's all the type of stuff that you need and isn't necessarily what you think to like look for or get when you're looking for new art supplies. I also, in this month's box, got the liquid graphite, which was really cool. It's not the sort of thing I would have ever experimented with, especially at its individual retail price point, but was actually really cool, and I have a couple of ideas for illustrations that I could use it for. I also really like the sample-sized surface. I like having the smaller pieces because this is great for experimenting on without feeling like you're wasting high quality paper. This is great for doing small studies and sketches and that sort of thing without spending a whole lot of time on it. And if I decide that I like this surface, then I can go and I can get a full-size one. I don't necessarily just have a whole stack of full-size surface sitting around that I don't have a use for because I didn't really jive with it. Overall, I would say that SketchBox is a winner. I'm looking forward to getting next month's box, and there's a very strong possibility I'll actually renew this one instead of just letting the 3 months that I initially paid for run out, because I'm really enjoying it. We'll see what happens with the next month. There's always a possibility they could kind of pivot to art supplies I'm not as interested in. But overall, it's been a really strong showing so far, and I'm thinking I'm going to stick with this one for a little while. I really hope you've enjoyed this little exploration of the SketchBox art supply subscription service, and if you decide to go for it, let me know in the comments how it goes for you, or if there's any other art supply subscriptions you'd like me to try out or that you've tried out and had good experiences with in the past. And while you're here, you may as well do the YouTube things, like the video, show it to people, subscribe to the channel, all the stuff. You know what we gotta do here. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye! I look so greasy. It's so hot.